Next, we have Jerry Morrow.
I guess best is last, huh? My name is Jerry Morrow, and I'm running for the second year for a TUD. And a lot of people ask me, they say, why are you running for the TUD board? I came up here from Pleasanton and lived in Pleasanton for quite a few years, and was very involved in Pleasanton at that particular time when it was growing considerably. But my wife says, please, Jerry, don't get involved again. But I'm going to give you a little different perspective of how I feel that I would like to see TUD run. And I'm going to do it a little different way, but I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. But nobody talked about watershedding, huh? Nobody talked about watershedding. But I'm going to talk about that. The last time that I seen a crowd like this at our planning commission meeting, we had the marijuana initiative, and I don't think the Farm Bureau is into that. I would hope not. But at any rate, I envy Patrick. I wish I could just throw my notes away and talk off the cuff like he does, but I've never had that opportunity to do that in my life. So I have to go by notes. My wife's name is Barbara, and I have 3 children and 3 grandchildren. I have always served as the community I have lived in throughout the years. Presently, I'm serving on the Tuolumne County Planning Commission and have served as a commissioner for over almost 14 years, in February to be 14 years. I was appointed as chairman of the commission in 2003 and 2012. I also spent 3 years on the Tuolumne County Supervisors Planning Committee and was appointed to the Blue Ribbon Growth Committee and Alternative Landfill Sites. I'm currently serving on the Tuolumne County Historic Preservation Commission as a commissioner. I was president of the California County Planning Commission Association, which represents 58 counties in California. The association deals with planning, water issues affecting California, and also I was elected by my peers as Planning Commissioner of the Year in 2012 for the state of California. I was elected to the Sierra Village Water Board as director in 1997. The board dealt with numerous water issues affecting customers at that time. And I'd like to really talk a little bit about that. When I went on the board as a director on the water board in Sierra Village, it's a small little water board. And at that particular time, we had many problems to solve. And that's why I really went on that board, because I knew that by living up there, that I wanted to be involved and have a say in the water issues that we had, because we had, like I say, many problems. And during that time, we had an old tank that was leaking. It was terrible. So we got together as a board and made some decisions, and we put a new tank in. And we floated a bond, and it passed. And we let the rate payers know what we was going to do and how much money it would cost, but we had to do that. Also, I was past trustee of the Tuolumne County Board of Education in the county here. I served on that for 4 years in District 6. And I'm past president of the Tuolumne County Taxpayers Association. Presently, I'm governor of the Sonora Moose Lodge and also area governor of 6 branches of the SERS, Sons of Retirement. And I have almost 1,000 members that I oversee on the finances and the rules and so on. The reason I'm telling you everything that I've done, we need some leadership on the TUD board. And it seems like lately that we've just been band-aiding everything. And I'll tell you why that I decided to run. Already? Oh my goodness sakes. And I'll tell you why that I decided to run. I felt it was important to let people know my leadership that I have in doing these things. And I know I've only got a minute, but I'd like to go through this. From treatment plants to pumping stations, storage tanks, and pipeline, and deliver our water were built decades ago. TUD storage tanks are old, and the condition of these, 61% of these tanks currently is in fair or below standard. The system must be updated and repaired. We need more storage to Phoenix Lake and need to look at dredging down the road. If we dredge, the water supply will be increased by about 300 acre-feet for water for our TUD customers. And I really feel that I would form a committee to look into infrastructure and would look for grants from the state and federal government and would bring in
Jerry.
grant
That
writers
is
who
your
are
time.
experienced in water issues. Okay.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up the questions for Jerry.
You want me or somebody else? Oh, okay. Thank you. I do not have a question for you.
Okay.
I just want to say that I will be very disappointed to see you leave the Planning Commission. And out of all the legislative bodies I attend, I find you very impressive. Every time I come to a Planning Commission meeting, you are extremely prepared. You've gone out to the properties, you've seen them, you may have talked with the owners, you know very much what's going on, and I would expect you to do that also with TUD.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
So I find you as a public volunteer or appointed official, your work ethic is very impressive.
Well, as most of you folks know, that what I've read here, I've been on many boards and I've got the experience. I was a businessman in the Bay Area. Also, I was in my field, mostly was in sales. And I really feel that being on boards is an opportunity and honor for me to be on these boards. And I really appreciate it, except my wife doesn't too much, though.
I'll ask you the question I've asked previous ones. What would be your top security for, securing more water supply?
I didn't hear the
What
question.
would be your thoughts on how you would secure more water for the county?
Good question. And that's really an important question, too. I had mentioned before about water shedding. Nobody's really talked about water shedding. We need to do more thinning in our forests, and we need to do more logging because it creates jobs. Not only jobs that it creates the opportunity to have more water in our reservoirs and our lakes. I think with this last year that we have had, it's been terrible. And the reason that I wanted to see more water, because when we have to conserve water, each and every one of us this last year, it took a toll on everyone. As our lawns are, and by the way, I'm a ratepayer too. Our lawns is dried up, and when I heard some of the board members say, we're going to ask everybody to conserve. And we did. Everybody had a bucket and a shower, and everybody conserved. And at that particular point, when the board, I heard that they was back $1 million because the people conserved so much. And then to turn around and they said, well, we got to make that $1 million up. So what are we going to do? We're going to charge the ratepayers? And they was thinking about doing that. And then now they're going to sell the water back to PG&E. And I think that's atrocious. I just feel that everybody conserved, and it was just kind of a slap in the face, and that's why they really decided to run for the TUD board, and also for the infrastructure and the Band-Aids that we put on it.
Sir, follow-up to your answer to that last question. Connect the dots for us. How would the TUD board effectuate thinning the forest and generating more water? I mean, you're talking about the national forests, which belong to the federal government.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Naturally, I think that what we really have to do, even the Forest Service, the fire people in the Forest Service is saying that we need to really, they have 100,000 acres they'd like to see thinned. That's from their paperwork that I read. I think that you have to really get the Board of Supervisors involved. You have to get the Forest Service involved, and naturally the directors of TUD. That's a hard situation to do, but we need to have water shedding, and by thinning our forest for fire protection for every citizen here, and not only fire protection, but for the jobs that it would bring into this county. I see my time is just about up, but just really real fast, I just want to kind of go over this. At Phoenix Lake, we have a preservation restoration plan, and approximately 4,600 cubic yards of sediment enters the lake on an annual basis. I just wanted to bring that up so you'll be aware of that. If we...
Just a second, Jerry, this was our question time. Are there any more
Oh, I'm
questions for Jerry? I'll just finish with a quick one on your,
Sure.
I agree with you on the water shedding point, but how do you propose on capturing that water? It seems to me that, if nothing else, we have a regulatory drought and a problem with our storage.
Well, naturally, we can't do it when we're in a drought, but I think when we have our rainy times, we do have water that comes down into our lakes and our streams. And we don't have a plan right now for water shedding. And by thinning and by
All right, Jerry.
logging.
I think my question was too long. That was my fault, but thank you.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.